Hey, so here's a beautiful 1938 special wedding edition of Mein Kampf, written by this man here. And it is in very good nick, beautifully kept. And you even have at the beginning the registry office and to whom the book was given, because this was the intent of those editions at the time in 1938. So you may wonder, why do I have this book? Well, first of all, for those who've been following my channel from the start, you will know that the purpose of my channel is to expose and clarify and unpack psychiatry and modern psychology as the scourge which is destroying our education system and our society. And conversely, what we can do about it, because there are things that can be done about it. Regardless of what psychiatry tells you, and the modern psychology will tell you that IQ is genetic, IQ can't be changed, it's all to do with genes, all sorts of nonsense. And obviously my other videos will show you how this is not the case and how you can increase your children's IQ, how you can increase your own IQ, how you can get yourself smarter, and basically a complete antidote to this madness that's been going on for the last 150 years. Now, there's other books that go with this, which is why I have it. Because in 1938, this gentleman also published his book in response to Hitler's book. And I've already talked about Van Leeuwen. He's a historian. He was a historian. I love his books because they're quite beautifully written in the English language. But that was Van Leeuwen's effort to counteract Hitler's book. A very good effort, very interesting reading. However, Van Leeuwen, like everybody else that I know about or I've watched discussing, World War II, the Holocaust, Hitler, all these sort of things, and also Hitler's minions, seem to always miss the elephant in the room, which has been missed by, I would say, most of the population of Earth for the past 150 years, which is why we're finding ourselves in this situation at the moment. So here's a third book to go with this, and this is what we're unpacking in this channel. Psychiatrists, the men behind Hitler. Now, this is never talked about, but Hitler, yes, whilst he was a madman, he would never have accomplished what he did accomplish without the very people willing and able and very, very keen on performing the destruction of other fellow human beings. And these people are psychiatrists, and they are as busy right now creating genocides and drugging of the population. Every grossness that's going on really right now, you can probably trace it back to some psychiatrist behind the scene, because now they've managed to infiltrate themselves all across governments around the world. But that's been going on for about 150 years. It began about 150 years, and with the right funding, beginning 1900, then you really got going. So when you look at, for example, the apartheid in South Africa, the concentration camps with black people after the Second World War, you see psychiatrists were very busy there. A lot of people don't realize that, for example, in Nazi Germany, even before the Holocaust, the Germans were very much involved in their T4 euthanasia program, killing off tens of thousands of Germans who they considered not worth living. Lives not worth living. Quite interesting. This is eugenics. When you look at, for example, the residential homes in Canada, abusing and destroying thousands of First Nation Indians, here again you find psychiatry. Take Japan's Unit 731, again you find psychiatrists, because Japanese psychiatrists were very busy studying in Germany in the early 1900s and during the First World War and after the war. So we have this group of people who are actively and who've been actively destroying humanity, and it's never talked about, which is quite extraordinary. So this is what I talk about in my channel. There are hundreds and thousands of references in there, going from the 1800 and earlier all the way to present. Because here's another example: Project Paperclip. You have plenty of videos on Project Paperclip. How the CIA brought German scientists and other scientists to America after the Second World War. But they didn't just bring scientists back. loads of psychiatrists who were completely involved, and I mean like directly involved, in the killing of millions of people, children, and all sorts of horrendous experiments, were also brought across to the US. They escaped the Nuremberg trials, and they continued to practice, advise the CIA, and were like heavily involved in the destruction of the US, really, as we have it now. So those who have followed my channel from the start, you know what it's all about. If you're quite new, do follow. And as I said, you'll get 2 types of videos. You get the videos unpacking psychiatry and modern psychology and how it's really destroying our society. And the other types of videos are much nicer because they're all about how to increase IQ, how to help your children become really smart, how to increase your own IQ. Because don't forget that psychology and modern psychology and psychiatry are based on the completely false premise and fabricated premise of the brain theory and chemical in the brains. And all this was fabricated in the late 1800s, and I've got videos on this. You can research it, very easy to find, but somehow people have been brainwashed into this to really believe it. So it's quite a challenge. But no, IQ and intelligence has nothing to do with your brain. You can do loads of things about it. You can really, really get yourself and your children like on a super smart level. And this is what vested interests fear, because if you have an entire population who can really read, understand, have high level of comprehension and be very literate, be able to read all legal documentation, be able to read all the scientific documentation, then those people are really going to have a problem. So, of course, you've got to keep the population dumb. You've got to keep the population unable to read really, with proper comprehension. And, send them off like sheep to get drugged up and, you're sorted. So, yeah, follow and see what you think.